when you let go of it, did it feel right? Talk about what you saw in that play, and I'm guessing you're pretty happy with that throw, right?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I had a little pressure too. So when you turn it loose and then you get hit, you're on the ground. You never know what's going to happen. But I mean, to have that outcome, feel like I put the ball in a great spot. Chris was, exactly how we had it planned. Taking that shot down the field, and we got a look that we wanted, and he made a big play.
Have you been waiting on that one? Like you just said, you got the look you wanted. Was that one that you were sort of sitting on to get the look you wanted?
Well, I mean, every time you drop a game plan, you install your plays. It's like, all right, you'd love to have this look versus certain plays, and you don't always get the look that you want. And for us, when Pete called it, it was the perfect time. And so, I mean, it happened exactly how we were hoping it would.
How aware were you that Aaron Donald was closing in on that particular play?
I was pretty aware, So, I mean, I'll just ask Chris about speeding up, your routes and all that kind of stuff. At the end of the day, you got to play on time. And when you can play on time, good things happen. And half a second longer, then that's a sack, incomplete pass. But for us, you guys doing the exact thing that we're exactly how we want it done. And if you can play on time at the quarterback position and get the ball out, good things can happen.
How big were those two drives coming out of halftime? Obviously, you guys were down going into half and coming out getting those two touchdown drives.
It's huge. I think when we knew we were getting the ball at the start of the second half, and especially since they scored right before halftime, for us, you wanted to get into a rhythm early, and I thought that we did a great job of being aggressive. First play of second half, got a big play to Chris, and then we just had the momentum from then on. So to go down and score was huge, and exactly what we wanted to do.
I know Chris has been your consistent receiver, at least that you've found. Having Jarvis back this weekend, how much is that big to y'all's effect, at least an offensive strategy?
Yeah, I mean it's really big. Everybody knows what Jarvis can do, what he's done throughout his whole career, and so to get him back in the mix, I think we can continue to find ways to get him the ball. He made some big plays for us. Obviously, the touchdown was awesome, exactly what we want. But a couple plays before, he caught a nice seam ball that allowed us to get down there.
Obviously, one of the things this team hasn't been able to do this year is win back-to-back games. Were there things in this game that you think, from an offensive perspective, were figured out, and how do you kind of roll that forward into next week to kind of get on a streak?
Yeah, I mean, for us, we've got to carry over the momentum into this week. And so, that's the most important thing we can do. We can enjoy this one today, but moving forward, we got to find ways that the things that we did really well, things that we can build on, and find the things that we need to correct. And that's the nature of this game. And when you week in and week out, you got to correct the mistakes, but it's easier to correct the mistakes off of a win. And I think everybody understands that, and the feeling around the building after a win is always way more positive than the opposite.
Taysom talked about a little bit like of a different mentality, sort of a let-it-rip mentality, try anything. Did you sort of feel that, like, let's just give everything a shot today?
Yeah, I think that's kind of just where we're at, and what we need to do is just cut it loose. So why not, And for us, I felt like there was some things that we did today that maybe earlier in the season we probably wouldn't have done. And so I think that's a big reason why we're sitting here with a win today.
Like what? I'm sorry.
Well, I just think being aggressive. I think that's something that I think we came into the game knowing that we could do. Shoot, you can look at the first third down of the game, throwing the ball down the field on 3rd and 1. And I think that's just the mindset mentality that we have to have.
What does this win mean for you guys at this point in the season?
Yeah, after a couple losses, when you finally get another win under your belt. You know, it feels good. It feels exactly, you know, for us, just the way we talked this week and the things that we wanted to get done, we were able to do it. So, you know, it's nice to get this one this week.
What was it like for you just kind of splitting snaps with Taysom coming in, coming out, coming in, coming out? And what are some of the challenges of that for a quarterback?
Yeah, I mean, it's part of how we play offense. And when you can play that way and have success with me in there, then Taysom in there, and, you know, the defense doesn't know what's going to happen next. So, no, it's just part of the way we play.
Andy, well, two-parter, because I wanted to ask, I think D.A. cracked a smile when he said it, but he said you were getting a little frustrated this week with how many snaps Taysom took at quarterback. I don't know if he was joking or not, but is that hard? Is that something that you do actually have to overcome? I mean, that makes it a little harder?
No, I'm never upset with the number of snaps that
Yeah.
that Taysom takes, because I know how successful we've been able to be with it and how many positive plays come from it. So, yeah, I mean, Taysom's a unique asset for us, and, you know, a lot of teams have really good players. We happen to have one that can be all over the field and actually play quarterback too. And so I think that's our advantage. And for me, there's no discouragement when it happens.
And then I just want to, I mean, I know you've been in situations where you've been the backup and been in and out of the lineup in recent years, but sort of this week to week, not knowing even at the beginning of the week for sure if you'd be starting this week or how short it could be, and then to respond the way you did, I mean, was that something difficult to overcome? Are you proud of the way you kind of played through this week?
You know, I think at the end of the day, I'm happy with the way that we were able to play today. And the adversity that we had faced the last couple weeks, especially offensively, everybody talks about we obviously haven't scored enough points. We obviously haven't played as well as we had in previous weeks. But for us to put all that aside and focus on this game, what we were trying to accomplish, had a great plan going in, and we went out and executed it, regardless of all the other stuff that goes on. I think that's what makes you the most proud. And, you know, that's for me personally and for this group.
You mentioned that early 3rd and 1 earlier. I believe that one was to Juwan Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
He's got 5 touchdowns over the past 5 weeks. How would you describe what he's brought to this team?
Yeah, Juwan has done so many good things, and his ability to stretch the field and get open, and the matchup that we get with him has been really, really good for us. And it doesn't surprise me that he scored, you know, as many touchdowns as he has these last several weeks. So, I mean, he's a really good player for us.
How close were you guys to hitting on that trick play? I don't know if you got to look at it a second time after coming off the field or anything like that.
I don't know. I haven't. I'll have to watch it on film. I'm going to say it probably wasn't the most ideal look for it, but I've got to find a way to throw it away. I can't take that big sack.
Andy, when the coach sticks with you, do you want to reward him with something like what you did today?
I think at the end of the day, I want to play the way I know I'm capable of playing. And I know if I do that, then, you know, everybody will be happy with it. And so at the end of the day, you know, I feel like I have to do the job that I know that I'm capable of doing and play the way I'm capable of playing, and the rest of that, all that stuff will take care of itself. Thank you all.
Yeah, I mean, I think DA just said it. We're well aware of where we're at in the season, our record, and everything else. But look, I think we approach every week with the same mentality. And, you know, I think this week there may have been a more added emphasis on going out to win the football game, right? Like, what do we have to lose? So let's call everything we've got on this call sheet. Let's push the ball down the field. And I would say that maybe that was emphasized a little bit more than in weeks past.
Do you like, I mean, back at quarterback now, it seems like what Dennis said, at least from week to week, I mean, does that make you happy being back in this role? I know it's kind of been a juggling act all season.
Yeah, I mean, look, me personally, I don't feel like anything has ever changed, like from, 2018 to where we're at now. So there was a lot of conversation earlier about me going to the tight end room and what that was going to look like and everything else. But as I talked and met with Pete, at the end of the day, the conversation was, hey, we just want to use you more, and so we want to make sure that we are preparing you for what we're going to ask of you. And so I feel like that's what that was. And so as the season's played out, or we just played this game, week 11, I'm not surprised at how things have gone. And this is kind of how I have always envisioned it. And then every week is a little bit different, right? Like we got ahead throughout the game and kind of allowed us to run everything we had this week and the call sheet and created more opportunities for me. But there's still opportunities in previous week. We just didn't get to them.
Was this the most extensive package they had for you, or was all the stuff you did today in the package, you just got to more of it today?
Yeah, I think what you said second is right. We just got to it more today. And, you look at the last few weeks, we just didn't have very many snaps. And so, yeah, I think every game is a little bit different. And, the focus is whatever, like, what do we have to do to win this week? And I had a few more opportunities.
Has Pete used you more in the quarterback position this year, you think? Or have you guys developed that more during practice? Or do you think it's just a per game, per scheme, per strategy?
Honestly, I don't feel like anything has really changed from what I've done to years past with Sean versus what I've done with Pete. So I don't know if that answers your question. Yeah.
When you mentioned that it was sort of a what do we have to lose approach this week, what is players' moods and mentalities like? Was there a need for a pick-me-up, or energy has really remained high? How did that factor in not only to the approach, but what was the energy and the attitude of players after 2 tough losses?
I think the attitude was, man, like just go cut it loose. I think early on there was a lot of conversation of how we're going to win football games and, maybe create a little hesitancy. And I felt like, because our division hasn't played well, right? And so we weren't playing great. We kept losing games. And so, but the message was we're still in it. And I think the mindset this week was, hey, let's get rid of any anxiety. Let's go cut it loose. What do we have to lose at this point? And, let's go play our brand of football and not worry about anything else.
I know you can't make this comparison for the whole team, but does that possibly lead to, there were no penalties, I don't think, on offense today and stuff. Does playing without anxiety actually help that category as well?
Yeah, you talk about as a team, as a player, like it's hard to play tight, and I don't know how everybody was feeling this week, but I know that we had conversations offensively about like playing for each other, like you're in that huddle, there's only 11 you guys out there, and at the end of the day that's what matters. So let's just go have fun together, and maybe that carried over to the no penalties and execution and everything else, but it's hard to say.
Obviously, the offensive line is banged up, and you're running a lot of power sets. When that's the case, does that affect kind of how you approach particular plays, the kind of gaps you're trying to go at, and how do you think that group kind of held up today?
I thought they did a great job. I haven't seen statistically what the numbers were, but I felt like we ran the ball really well, and those guys came in and battled. So I was really impressed with what they did, and I think. On the next level up, I thought the coaches, the element of what makes a coach great, and I think we got great coaches in there, is they put us players in a position to be successful, and it doesn't matter if you're the backup or the third, whatever it is, like their job, and they spend a lot of time putting us in positions where they think we'll be successful, and they did that.
There were no penalties or turnovers on offense. Did it feel like a clean game out there for y'all?
For sure. Yeah, we're well aware the ball security stuff is talked about a lot, and field position, time of possession, all those things, like we were able to just check the box this week.
And the phrase like we beat ourselves has been used before. Does this finally feel like we beat the opponent?
Yeah, you know, I guess I haven't really thought much of it from that perspective, but it's tough to win a game in this league if you're turning the ball over and if you're putting yourself in second, third and long situations because of penalties. And, you know, again, I haven't seen the statistics, but I imagine we were pretty good on third down too because of that.
I know on one of the scoring drives, I think you and Andy rotated every play. And then Dennis just alluded to the fact that it was kind of difficult for Andy at practice to grasp that, I guess. Do you remember the last time you rotated quite that much at the quarterback position? I mean, would it be BYU or high school or ever?
I mean, no. I mean, I was in high school at BYU. I just played quarterback, you know. But look, I think I don't want to speak for Andy, but you know, I think a lot of Andy. I think a lot of Jameis. You know, I've got a great relationship with both of those guys, and so I never felt any, you know, tension or anything, you know, like that. Andy and I maybe have like a little running joke, like, hey, you can take this play off, or you know, whatever it may be. But man, I'm Andy's biggest fan, and I feel like he's my biggest fan too, you know. And at the end of the day, the end goal is the same, so it doesn't matter how we get there as long as we're winning football games.
Taysom, what does a win like this then do moving forward here for the team?
Say that again?
What does a win like this do then for the team moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously, you know, that's a Ram team that's a little banged up, but they won the Super Bowl last year, and we're well aware of that. And I think the mindset is, hey, let's continue to build on what we did. You know, so we've talked about offensively at least, no turnovers, no penalties. Man, and if we continue to play that style of football, we're going to be a really tough team to beat. So as we forecast in the next week, let's continue to do that, and that'll be the mindset. All good? Thanks, guys.